Can you believe it? It's actually been a couple years since we've covered this topic, and the list has definitely changed. So today, we're talking about the top 10 2As for new players. And it's very important to note that it is specifically for new players, because we're in a state of the game right now where there are a lot of 2As, which is great for the health of Summoner's War, but hard for the sake of script writing. It's like, I gotta keep it to 10. And I mean, technically that's fine, because I don't even know if there are numbers beyond 10. Like, let me know when they invent some. We probably won't know until next year. Another thing to keep in mind if you're watching this at some nebulous time in the future, we're in the middle of a 10th anniversary event right now that gives 200 of the 10th anniversary scrolls. And they all have a chance to summon LDs. So I will be including some technically non-farmable light and dark monsters on this list. But a lot of people have gotten a bunch of random LD 3 stars, so let's talk about them. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's start with number 10. It's Icaru, the Water Inugami. Icaru's impact on both the game as a whole and the teams you're going to put him on are way grander than the number 10 slot would indicate. The only reason he's this high on the list is because it can be a little difficult for new players to ruin him on that 2381 additional defense that he needs to pull all 3 units. Because like those guard and determination sets don't come out of nowhere, right? They don't just grow on trees. I wish they did, because that'd make it a lot easier, but unfortunately they don't. But when you do ruin him to the point where he can pull all 3 units, he'll be one of the best team up options in your arsenal. He has a whole team named after him in Trickaroo, which is just him in triplicate. He's also featured on the Vampires Walking Dogs team and more. In fact, I keep learning of new places that I can bring Icaru, so he's a great investment, but maybe just not first, you know? Number 9 is Gina, the Dark Mystic Witch. I was originally thinking about putting Zinc, the Dark Living Armor, at this slot because he has buff block on every single skill. But we come to a point where there are a lot of buff block options, so he's not as essential for Steel Fortress. He's definitely helpful though. But because he is relegated predominantly to that area of the game, I decided to put Gina here, because Gina does offer buff block, but she also has sleep and a little bit of dot damage on skill 3. And that sleep can go a long way, especially when crowd control is so essential for clearing Trial of Ascension for new players. Because it's really important that you can get those rewards monthly. So she could help you with that. Number 8 is Sath, the Fire Grim Reaper. And he being at number 8 and also being here at all is very indicative of how much the list has changed in the 2-year gap since the last time we covered this topic, because he is the only remnant of the dot package that's here. In a weird twist of fate, Tatu does not make it on the list because she is technically non-essential. But doubling dot damage, that's pretty great. Also, he goes great with Gina. Did I do that sequencing on purpose? No, but I love the coincidence. Even though you can't use dots in Abyss dungeons, there's still plenty of places where they're effective, like Trial of Ascension. Sath also got another 15 minutes of fame when Lightris was introduced. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to read her passive, but it essentially turns dots into AoE damage. You should check it out, it's really cool, and Sath pairs great with her. Number 7 is Roid, the Wind Vagabond, who I think is one of my favorites aesthetically speaking. I think Roid had probably the biggest glow up amongst any of the Second Awakened units. Although, I guess, you know, the Martial Cats weren't really doing themselves any favors. The Werewolves, too. Yeah, I guess there's more than Mystic Witches. Yeah, oh my god, the Frankensteins. Oh, crap. I already love what Roid offers. Defense break, provoke, and attacking additionally. So he's one of my favorite Second Awakenings from a kit design perspective. But now he's seen new uses in the Giant's Abyss dungeon. People are bringing him as a defense break option to replace things like Lauren, who hit 1 too many times. Roid still hits twice, but that is scientifically proven to be 1 fewer than 3. Plus, if you really wanted to, you could use him in RTA. You could even use him in guilds. All around, great monster. Belladeon, the Light Inugami. Belladeon, the Light Inugami was already such a great monster before the Second Awakening. In fact, all Bella gets out of a 2A is 5% more healing and a little bit of attack bar manipulation. Turns out that's all it needed. What it actually needed though was the base stat improvement. With the Second Awakening, now it's got base stats that are comparable to a 4 or 5 star monster. That extra survivability is all Bella really needed, and now Bella is a solid defense break option for Giants. She can strip and she can heal and boost you. I don't know what else to say. I don't think I need to say anything else. So instead, I'll talk about Shannon, the Wind Pixie, who did see a lot of improvement from Second Awakening. Shannon mostly benefited from the base stat increase, but also got some attack bar absorption on skill 2 and skill 1. So that means that she's even better in places like Giant's Abyss, where you don't want the boss or the monsters in the waves to take a turn. So now she's slowing them down, sucking their attack bar, and giving your whole team an attack and defense buff. Now you're just indestructible. This whole situation I just described is why I'm chill with Shannon now. I used to be extremely biased against Shannon because I thought she was too safe, but now she makes you just safe enough. and she can get you into Giant's Abyss faster than you normally would. So for that, I'm appreciative and I'm sorry. Next is Shaman, the Light Griffin. Shaman's on the list because he is really good in a lot of places, and that list of places keeps getting bigger. Years ago, he was good in Necro because it had a dark boss. Now he's good in Necro, Calderon, Giants, Dragons, anywhere that you need max HP scaling damage. Because even though his passive is definitely why we go to him, he's got a heal on skill 1 and he's got max HP scaling damage on skill 2. Build him on damage and you can just frick people up. Number 3 is his brother Spectra. Spectra is incredibly similar in the sense that you still want to build him on damage. In fact, in a lot of situations, I recommend people actually build him on slot 2 attack, crit damage, and HP. You could even go attack, crit damage, attack with this guy. And the reason for that is that Spectra is the current owner of the highest base speed in the game of 126. So that means that your slower damage runes are going to go a lot further on him than they would on someone else, so he can keep up. And if you've watched our free-to-play beginner's guide to Dragon's Abyss, then you'll know that you actually don't want him to move first on your team. Because ideally, you'd want someone to set up defense break before he moves, just in case he uses skill 2. You want to maximize the amount of damage he's doing. So just keep that in mind. Now let's talk about why you're bringing him. It is for that max HP scaling damage on skill 2. It's essentially the same as Shaman's. But he also has what I like to refer to as soft crowd control on skill 3, where he reduces attack bars, applies attack break, and adds a slow. And that's actually insanely useful for Trial Ascension. In fact, to this day, I still use him against the TOA 100 bosses. Number 2, Raoq, the Fire Inugami. One of my favorite monsters in the entire game. I think Raoq is so great. Defense break on skill 1, and it can hit multiple times. So it feels great when he pops off. He gets additional turns out of his passive when he takes down enemies, and then his skill 2 is a team up, and it automatically pulls 2 units with it, with no prerequisite at all. You don't need to rune him a certain way to get it, it just happens. And I think dodging the requisite stats that are present on Icaru is enough to push him up this list, because you end up getting a lot of value out of him from very early on. You can rune him on Violent and just watch him pop off. Plus, he also reduces cooldown times whenever he pulls people with his team up. And finally, number 1 is Crow, the Dark Inugami. Crow has been at number 1 for ages, and he's not likely to change anytime soon. He is still the best damage option for new players. If you're starting Summoner's War, then you're starting with Crow. He's one of those monsters that's going to grow with you as you progress through Summoner's War. You're going to use him from day 1 all the way down the line. I still use him to this day. That's the list of top 10 2As for new players. Let me know if you have any suggestions for a swap that I could have made on the list, or if you have a favorite 2A that might not necessarily be for new players, like Second Awakened Kali, who's a staple on snipe comps. Or like Elucia, who slays Artemials in RTA, or even Joltan or Vigor, who see use in the Dimension Hole. Kinda sad that Lulu didn't make the list. We're just not in that state of the game anymore. We've got Fran and Riley now. Sorry, Lulu. I didn't mean to drag Lulu like this at the end of the video. Am I really gonna end the video like this? Yeah.